Hello and welcome to Tuesday Talk with Rob Allen. This is episode 7. We are really enjoying this. We're rocking and rolling. We're right in the middle of the day. Expect some interruption and all that kind of good stuff from my fellow cohorts, but we'll just keep going. What do we want to talk about first? Well, keeping true to form, let's talk about this week's product spotlight. Had the opportunity to help a contractor out along with Michael do some lighting integration with a current system where they're controlling the building and their HVAC and doing a little bit of access control. And it's a community center of sorts, and they've got several baseball, softball, soccer fields along their campus that they wanted to control the lighting on and schedule the lighting. Talk about operational savings and things like that. These guys were basically paying their technicians overtime and putting them on call for the entire duration of these games that they were scheduling outside of normal business hours to go and manually turn the lights on and manually turn the lights off. They found that particular scenario was saving them money over people leaving the lights on all night long and not turning them off. So if you think about that, they'd already made a cost-saving measure of hiring someone at an overtime rate to be on call to go turn the lights on and off to save money versus having the lights left on. So when we went in and sold this package to these folks and told them that we could fully automate the entire process and we could actually show how much was being used and break it down per sport and per activity and determine that if the youth soccer team was using the lights more often than, let's say, the adult softball field, then they could adjust what they're charging these folks for access to those facilities. So it worked out really cool. And the backbone of how we did this was the WattStopper WBT900. Now they also make this in the IP version, which is what we used, and you can do it with lawn as well too. So we set these different devices up. One at the baseball field and soccer field and tennis courts on one side of the street, and then across the road and down about 500 yards or so, and then off the road, a good little ways, back as well. We set some more up to control the Little League field, the other soccer fields and stuff like that. But basically, you use the same WBT900 across every one of these, and you set them up, and then you can use different antennas based on how far you have to go and things like that. But then the main one, you can change that to the server, and then the other ones are the clients, and then you configure them up. They see each other, you're good to go. We ran into one small firmware issue. If it wouldn't have been for that, these probably would have been deployed and programmed, I don't know, in less than half an hour across the thing. So these work really great. You set them up different ways, but you're actually doing wireless and bringing it in. Here's a map of kind of how this looks. So you can see these are pretty far away. You've got the field there, and then the Little League field across the street, and then tennis courts and things like that. So it worked out really neat where you can see we're bringing all this stuff together and controlling these lights and doing it all on a schedule, and they no longer have to pay that person to overtime and that kind of stuff. So really cool. If you need more information on this, let me know. The controllers that we use were EasyIO FG32s. So we just had a WBT900-IP and an FG32, and each of those red circles there, all talking back to one server set up in the main aquatic center and all that kind of stuff where that yellow circle is. So really great product, working really well. As we develop this more and show this true integration, we'll report back to you and let it know how it goes. So wireless lighting control, who would have thought? All right, most of you Honeywell contractors have already been told about and are participating in the N4 Head Start program. If this is news to you, pay very close attention. Your deadline for signing up is Friday, July 31st, so that's this coming Friday, 5 days from now. Actually, your true deadline is probably the 30th or the 29th, because Honeywell wants these all done at one time, so I got to get everybody's order and send it in at one time, and then they'll send it all out from there. So you need to get that to me, basically, with what I'm saying, so I can get it all over to Honeywell in the right amount of time. So what will this do for you? Well, for any AX certified technicians that you currently have on staff, you can do this Head Start program. It'll run you about $1,400. That gets you 2 seats in training, and the training is done online. And so these folks will listen to the training, do the modules, take the exam, and they will at that point be N4 certified. Okay, so it's training for your current AX guys to get N4 certified. And you know that the class, one AX class has been $600 more, $700 more than what we can offer here or we can offer 2 seats for N4 certification. So it doesn't just stop at the training. You're actually going to get a demo supervisor license that you can put on your demo Jace, and you can start to play with Niagara 4. It won't be live until Niagara 4 is pushed out, but that's at the end of August that N4 is going to be released. So you can play with it, etc. Then if you decide that you don't want to keep it on your demo Jace, you can sell it on a job to a customer, stuff like that, so you're not stuck with it. But $1,400, 2 folks, Niagara 4 certified, and you get the demo supervisor license to play with, and 12 months of maintenance. So I hate to use the word no-brainer, but that's pretty much a no-brainer if you are a DDC contractor with access to webs. Now, Johnson, as you know, if you're an FX contractor, listen to this, does a little bit different. They have their own app that they use on their Jace, so they don't have a Head Start program. If you're a Johnson contractor, you're interested in this Head Start program, give me a shout. I have a way that I can get you squared away. Probably end up doing that through LinkSpring, but we can get you access to N4 and see how that'll work for you. So really good stuff. Let me know by Thursday at the very, very latest, preferably Wednesday, or actually preferably today. So good stuff. Moving right along. All right, Control Talk Now. Eric's got a studio set up, and I was over there last weekend, and did Control Talk Now 143. And this week, he brought in studio Fred Gordy. Fred Gordy is the cybersecurity evangelist. He's been doing a whole lot of stuff on control trends lately, and he was in studio and did some really, really, really cool stuff. This was a little bit different than a normal Control Talk Now, where they usually break down the topics of control trends for that week. They essentially just for about 45 minutes just talked about cybersecurity. It was really neat. They announced the cybersecurity conference they're going to do in March at Georgia Tech. So they're going to bring a lot of different manufacturers of different cybersecurity things and just bring in and talk about them and have a little conference at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech apparently has got a entire setup where they're going out and hacking, white hat hacking, which if you watch the this episode here, you'll know the difference in white hats and black hats and red hats and that kind of stuff. But basically going out and white hacking, I guess, is where you're doing it for purposes of good things. So Georgia Tech is kind of the epicenter of that for this area. And so they said, well, what better venue to have a cybersecurity conference than there? So that's really neat. And I really enjoyed listening to Fred. He kind of said that, for the last 3 or 4 years, he's been pushing rope, which hopefully you'll know what that analogy means. Basically, it's very hard to push rope in any direction because it's flexible and whatever else. So, talking about cybersecurity, but he feels like that those days are over. He's no longer pushing the rope, and it's widespread out there. And just know that anything that you connect to the internet is going to be prone to hacking, and you need to protect yourself. And so Fred's going to be the guy to tell you how to do that. Lastly, he was just announced on this show, on this episode, that he's going to be given the opportunity to present someone every year at the Control Trends Awards, the Cybersecurity Hero Award. So Fred gets to choose who he wants that award to go to, and I think I know a couple of the front runners, but I'm not going to give my opinion on that now. But Fred, it's up to him. So Fred is very, very active on Twitter. I get his tweets directly sent to me, so every time he sends something, I can see it. And he does some really good stuff. He works for SmartCore. Will Wynn is also another good guy to follow on Twitter. So why don't you go ahead, and if you're on Twitter as well, why don't you go ahead and watch Control Talk Now, and then tweet at FGordy and tell him how he did on the Control Talk Now episode number 144. All right, finishing up. We're getting pretty good at these, aren't we? We're getting real efficient, so you don't have to sit down and watch a bunch of stuff. and sit here forever and be bored ad nauseum. And I think that the emails can give you links to the stuff that you just want to see. All right, finally finishing up, calendar of events, not changing too much. Contractor Day is still coming. August 3rd to the 7th is the last AX Niagara certification here at Stromquist in Atlanta. If you have not signed up for that and you want to get someone signed up let me know. It's a great way to get these guys, because obviously all of your systems out there now, unless you still have some existing R2, are all AX. So if you get someone AX certified that's not already, they can work on your past systems. We've got the Fast Start program, and you can see it's very affordable to get someone set up for N4. So really, in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. Get them trained for both AX and N4. That way they can work on all of your current systems and then install and program all of your newer systems. So coming up, you got one more week to sign up, and we'll get going next Monday. Vern will be here for AX Niagara certification. All right, September 20th to the 23rd, Honeywell Momentum out in Palm Springs, California. We talk about it every week. That is a great event to go to and go check out. Huge stuff this year with the release of Niagara 4. They're also going to release their LCBS product, which I've grown to like quite a bit. And I think that it's going to be something that's going to be a game changer for a lot of the markets that are more suited for light commercial. And then finally, the Control Trends Awards are happening down in Orlando, January 24th. You'll also be able to watch that Control Talk Now episode and see where that venue is. It's going to be at the Hard Rock Live in Orlando. They actually have a John Lennon, for all you music buffs out there, replica of his apartment where he lived at with Yoko Ono, the Dakota. And I think I understand that's where he was shot on his front steps of that. But they've got the replica of that, and for all of the platinum sponsors, you're going to be able to entertain your guests up in the John Lennon suite before the Control Trends Awards. Now, obviously, if you're coming in for the Control Trends Awards, you may want to stay for the AHR Expo going on. I know it would never be the other way around. You wouldn't go to AHR and also stay for Control Trends. It would be, staying for AHR. Anyway, corny joke of the day number 1. All right, guys. Well, that's it. We're going to finish up. Short and sweet this week. Looks like we kept it very brief. So thanks a whole lot. I'll put all the links into the body of the email. Shoot me over those comments still if there's anything that you want me to go over or review. If you think that it may make some sense to elaborate a little bit more on some of these tech tips or product spotlights and things like that, just let me know. This is for you guys. This is not for me. It's for you guys to get up to speed. So thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. Take care.